propagating. Hopefully this is on Twitter and YouTube. If anybody's watching this on Twitter, you can pop over to the Gimbalabs YouTube channel as well, and that's where the live chat is happening. But hey, Piotr, hey, Steve.
Hi, James.
What's
Hi,
up, man?
Piotr.
James?
We are from Gimbalabs, and this is the 46th of what is now the Gimbalabs bi-weekly update. We've been doing this for about a year now, and we switched to a 2-week cadence a couple months ago because there's just been so much going on, and we wanted to be better able to focus on work and be able to report some useful things. But it's been a busy couple of weeks. There's been a lot going on out in Cardano land, yeah?
That's true.
We've been staying busy. And I also know, like, we're keeping our regular time here for this update. But there's some great stuff going on with Catalyst Governance Week. So if anybody's watching this later, we want to shout you out actually right away. So there's been a lot of conversations in the community, and some of them have been really hard about governance, how we all collectively contribute to and share ownership of the Cardano protocol. And just want to thank everybody for jumping into these conversations. Nothing else to say. It's just we're here for it, and we're just really glad that other folks are here for it too. Want to thank so deeply Catalyst Swarm and everybody who helped put together Governance Week. Been some amazing programming going on, and there's recordings of a lot of sessions so that you can go back and revisit those anytime. But it continues this evening and tomorrow, and you can go to this link right here, catalystswarm.com/events-2, and you can see just all the links directly to Zoom calls and other video meetings that are happening about a wide variety of topics. At Gimbalabs, we are hosting a session tomorrow, 10 a.m. my time, so 3 p.m. UTC tomorrow. We'll be talking about project-based governance. Yeah. So there's been a few, like, different people have like followed different threads from the governance conversation, and different things resonated more with different people. Different people picked, different details to focus on, which is the beauty of our distributed ecosystem. I want to come back to, how we actually prioritize, because all of us are prioritizing on a day-to-day and a week-by-week basis. Is that disorienting to use the same picture as the background and as the slide?
It's like a visual echo,
right? But this is so important. Like, we need scaffolding, right? We need to build stuff, and a lot of people are right when they emphasize the need for developers to write code and build the stuff that's going to make it possible to do everything that we expect this protocol to do. And so I actually, I pushed back a little bit on that message last week, even though internally at Gimbalabs, we talk about this all the time, right? We love people's ideas, and we know we got to build the tech layer first.
There's no.
Could there was something, like with the pushing back on the focusing on the technical tool building aspect, it's like, it's been a thing for me the entire time in Catalyst that, for these things where big money is going to concentrate, Catalyst doesn't need to fund those guys, right? These guys have their own funding anyway. We don't need to help them, or at least it's not as critical. It's a thought that I have, and I don't don't talk about it a lot, but I think it's a point to consider when we consider where to vote.
Yeah, I think if I may just jump into this, I think so too. Like if someone has a good idea, then there will always be someone who has the money who can invest into a good idea to help them build all of this and make it make it come true. So that you know, it's like I think it's like a bad business has to fail because either the idea is bad or the the business plan behind this thing is bad. So it's like
All that's true, and Piotr, you're one of the strongest builders I know, right? And you've been contributing directly to this work inside of Gimbalabs. For me, I come from a profession that's not great for making money, from education. Okay, and everybody knows the education system is broken, but people still got to learn somehow, right? And so I trust me, getting in a few arguments here in the Cardano space. Here's Mike. Getting in a few arguments here in the Cardano space is nothing compared to the fights I used to have in the education space. So that's what we're all here for. We got to argue about tough things. Mike,
Hey, can you
what's
hear
going
me?
Hey,
on?
Mike.
how's it going?
Hey, can you guys hear me?
We can. You
Yes.
sound great, and welcome.
Great. Welcome,
And
or thank you.
we got so
Welcome
we're
to
just
you, to me. What?
we're
No.
setting up to talk to you, and I wanted to switch to this other. I've used both of these images on previous weekly updates to kind of think about kind of the dual work that Gimbalabs is committed to, but I encourage everybody, we're all finding our place in this. And yes, we need tools, but we also need to help other people, thrive, right? And we've loved this dandelion image from the beginning, because dandelions, man, they're as humble as education, right? At least here where I live, they're weeds. People try to get rid of them because they're everywhere and they grow so quickly, and you can't control these things. Once dandelion seeds start to fly, you don't know where they're going to land. You don't know how many little flowers are going to grow, right?
Do
And that's the
y'all
whole
see
point. You can't control this.
exactly? Do you see that on the wall behind me? That happens every time we talk about these things. It's kind of like my aura.
The light
It's
shines
just
in right there.
yeah. Do you see it?
Cool. Yeah. Ah, that's
No,
not always there. That's really cool.
no, it only happens when we talk about these things.
And so what we want to propose is that this is not either building tools or supporting more people to come into our ecosystem with more ideas from more different places. It's both and. And as somebody who, I try to carve out development time. And when I do, what makes me most excited to build is having a reason to, right? Knowing the thing that some real person somewhere needs, and not just like speculating in my own mind about what tools are going to make the difference, but knowing firsthand because I've been inspired by somebody who really needs tools. And so for me, when I'm voting in Project Catalyst, especially for which questions we ask next in Fund 8, heck yeah, I'm voting for a lot of the dev ecosystem stuff. Anything that gets more tools built, you're darn right I'm supporting that, just not with 100% of my votes. I'm also supporting some things that involve launching work in other places, right? Or supporting a special interest group who might not sound like they directly have a connection to building blockchain tools, but who sure have a lot of use cases, a lot of problems in coordination and distributed problem solving. Because some of these groups, I got to shout out Cardano for Climate, for example. When I look at the work Cardano for Climate is doing, they are directly inspiring development work. They have plans and use cases that as a focused developer, I know it's hard to have, right? But these are people who are doing real work, solving real problems, and therefore they bring these pretty incredible use cases to the table. But if you want to learn more about that, you can join C4C every Tuesday. I have to double check the time. I think that's at 3 p.m. UTC. So we want to just look at one silly example. I mean, climate change is a big deal. It's a big problem. It's going to take massive coordination to make any moves on it. So we just want to talk about something a little bit less significant, but very exciting to us. And it's this project we've been doing with Joey's Hot Sauce. This NFT will be released 2 weeks from today on the 10th of February. We initially wanted to put it out this week, but we saw just kind of network congestion, and we saw that we wanted to do a little bit more talking about this project before releasing it. So we decided to push it back a couple of weeks. And we'll be really excited to host some events where we can talk to more folks in the community and share about this project. But what it is, okay, what we're doing is anybody who purchases a Joey's Hot Sauce NFT will actually get 2 NFTs, an animated video and an image. You get a bottle of your choice from 4 or a box set of all 4 bottles of hot sauce. These are made from all organic, local ingredients in the West Coast of the United States by Joey. It's a small business, a small team. They're sourcing all their ingredients from local farms. He's got this truffle guy who like hikes up into the woods of Oregon and finds truffles, and they use real truffles in the sauce. They grew a very special batch of Scotch bonnet peppers, which Joey says tastes, that's the flavor you get in jerk chicken. Is that what he said, Steve? So it's a very special batch of Joey Selects. And we are highlighting a regenerative cattle farmer named Hops and raising some money for his fledgling business. And we produced a documentary, and that's why we have Mike here on the call to talk about the documentary. Now, with this in mind, this is the thing we built, right? Hot sauce alone is not going to change the world. But what happens when you start with some hot sauce? Are you guys hot sauce fans? All right.
Definitely.
I'll pour a little bit on pretty much anything, right? And it kind of changes. It changes my perspective on the food I'm eating. And I'll let you take the metaphor from there.
No pressure, no pressure. No, I'm the same way. I love hot sauce on a breakfast burrito. It's the best things in life. And I don't have a better metaphor. I'm sorry.
No, it's good. I mean, right? It's a little thing, right? And yeah, I actually had a really good time. Joey sent my family a sample of Joey's hot sauce, and it was the first hot sauce that my children ever ate. And it was so fun. Like it was a real event, and it gave us something to talk about and to laugh about together, right? So we all know that a little bit goes a long way when it comes to putting this food on our plate. But this project, although on its own rather insignificant, has led to some surprising things, right? It gave me a chance to bring my friend Mike into this work. Mike, you there? He might be nearby. He's getting ready to go out. There he is. Hey.
It is.
Right. Now, Mike, how long have I been
listening,
telling you? I've been telling you about Cardano for a couple of years now.
Yeah, since 2019-ish.
And I have a way to get a little bit like an 8-year-old when I get excited about something. So I would just like call up Mike and I would just start like telling him everything about this thing. And he would kind of listen because he's a good friend to me. But it wasn't until we took on this Joey's project and Mike and I were talking about it when we realized, hey, maybe this is a chance for you to get involved. And that there was a pretty quick turnaround there, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think part of what happened was what you're saying is exactly right. And this is a new technology for me. I'm trying to see you guys. Can you see me? Is this like you can see my hand and stuff?
Yeah, we got you now.
Because
You sound good.
Where are you people? Oh, there you are. Okay, good. Cool.
Oh, and
So yeah.
Adriano, we're going to work on that, Adriano. We got you.
So yeah, it is exactly as you say, James. Like you were saying things to me, and you were quite puppy-like, and I didn't understand a word of it, and I got frustrated by that. And you sent me all these links, and you sent me Charles Hoskinson in 2017, and you sent me some other stuff, and you sent me your own brilliant educational videos, some of which I watched, many of which I did not watch. But what I know about you too is that you were sort of this coiled spring after years in education, and I knew you were going to take your skills, your immense skills as an educator, into whatever you did next. And I'm so happy that that we're collaborating here, because it has been I was frustrated, and my whole job in my professional life has been to sort of make sure that the dumb guy gets it, no matter what it is. And that was my job at National Geographic for 5 years, basically. And I've been working in like science television with these very complex science ideas that need to be digestible for like a fourth grade audience. And so I was like, anything that I've seen that relates to Cardano or stake pools or even the blockchain or cryptocurrency, like honestly, when I hear cryptocurrency, I still sort of do this. I think of Tales from the Crypt, which was a show on HBO when I was growing up, which scared the shit out of me. And so like I'm sort of like, ew, crypto and like the blockchain, it's all so opaque, and it seems like really insidery, seems really douchey from like the Bitcoin world. Like I don't know much about it, but I want to know if like I wanted to kind of weaponize my dumbness and not knowing, and say like, how can I help this cause, which James, like I don't, I know James so well, and I have very little idea what he's talking about often when it comes to programming. And I can tell you, because I know him very, very well, that he has been on one since he started any of this work. So I'm very excited, just sort of by proxy, and but not understanding it. So what we decided to do is like bring some warmth, bring some color, bring some light to this programming language, this situation. Like, you know, James often says things like, you know, NFTs are going to replace passwords, and it's going to be as common as an email, and shorter than we think. And so like, if you took a time machine and you wanted to go back in time to like 1994, and like tell everyone what the internet was like now, what an email was like, how would you convey that in a beautiful story where it wasn't like, here's what we're trying to say? It's more like through a narrative, through someone's experience, through the sort of emotional contours of their experience. That's what people connect with. That's what lights other people up, is when they see that experience. So with Joey, it's like, you know, he's really sweet on this girl, and he wants to impress her and make her a hot sauce, and like I can relate. I love that. And so we tried in the doc, we tried to lean into that, and like, you know, they're both really cute. Their relationship is cute. They're beautiful people, and so we wanted to lean into that, like, and use that as a way, like people can see their love story and maybe see something of themselves in their love story, and that's crucial. And then they can be like, what, NFT, what, question mark, exclamation point, like why is this word in here? And like the title is like laid out very deliberately, like hot sauce, and you know, an NFT, you know, something NFT. I don't even know what we said, but it's like an NFT is like plopped in there. And so all it's meant to do, it's this targeted torpedo to pique people's interest and to Google the words that they don't know after they watch something where they're like, hey, this is kind of cool. And like Hobbs is really interesting, and regenerative ranching, that sounds like we can like maybe actually make a difference in this seemingly hopeless, climate struggle. So we just want to, we're being impressionistic. We don't know, we don't know how this material will land. And that's on purpose, because I actually think that is what constrains much of the material that I've seen about Cardano and the blockchain, is that it's like very much about what it's about, if that makes sense. It's like, the Cardano blockchain will change the world of computing and personal finance and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, they paid some dude who's like worked for the BBC in the 80s to do this voiceover. And it's like, we can do way better, and we can be much more personal. We can actually like convey how excited we are once we sort of grasp what is possible here. And let me assure you, I do not understand. So, but I'm working on it, and like, that's our hope here, is that like, there's what you're doing, and then there's like, treat. This really is, what our whole operation is like that. If a tree falls in the forest, will anyone be around to hear it? Like, there are trees falling in a forest. There's a whole forest being felled, and it's like covers the entire landscape of the world, and no one is hearing it right now, because that entire branch of communications, which is so critical to any operation, is missing in a compelling way. And so that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to bring human stories, warm it up, bring color and light and warmth to, like, if blockchain technology can help people find a way to vote who otherwise wouldn't be able to vote, or if someone, if a corporation encroaches on someone's property somewhere in the world, and they say, I'm sorry, you can't do that, and I'll take it up in court with you. Like, you can't come into my family home. And this is happening all over the world, of course, corporations coming into places, and they say, like, you can't do that because, like, this thing on the blockchain, this block that was minted on the chain, did I say that right? Is like, says that I own this land. And like, that's a beautiful story. And we can like shoot the corporations in their tractors coming up to the farm, and like, or reenact it. Like, there's all kinds of ways to do this, but like in a way that's not cheesy, does not insult our audience. That's the most important thing. And really conveys, like, in an earnest and the same earnest and loving, optimism we feel about what we're up to. We're just trying to put that into moving pictures. So, and scale it. So.
What I hear you, I mean, so Mike, thank you. And I'm so excited to keep going this message. And one of the key things I hear you saying is it's so easy, but it's also easy to forget. We have to pique people's interest before we send them the Charles Whiteboard video. We have to give people a reason to say, hey, like, why else do I want to be here? Not just for its own sake, but why else? And, you dropped in that you worked at National Geographic for a few years. And as I understand it, now that you've worked on this project, you've started to be able to think about the application of blockchain technology to solve some industry level problems with which you're really well acquainted. And you're not the only filmmaker thinking about this anymore. This has started a whole new set of conversations, right?
Yeah, thanks so much for that reminder. As with sort of any, I don't know how much of a rant I should go on here, and I'm sure not going to call on Steve here, because I think he would go bananas in this conversation. But like, because of the greed inherent to mitigated capitalism, every corporation has these gross, horrific inefficiencies in their processes. It's true with industrial meat. It's true with so many different industries. And filmmaking's no different. And when I would go out on these shoots, I'd come back with 3 terabytes of footage. And back when we didn't shoot 8K, that was a lot. I'd come back with 3 terabytes of footage, and we'd use like we'd use 250 gigabytes or less in the final, and everything else went on a drive, and that drive went on the shelf, and it was properly organized by an AP 2 years down the road, and then it probably just died on that shelf. And that's what happens over and over and over and over. And it's like, hey guys, can we find value in this very, very, very expensive footage? Like this is high level stuff. So if you pay a director of photography to go out there and shoot, like I can't fathom leaving any of that material on the shelf and not using it for social media. I mean, you can like level up in so many different ways because you have made that investment in that level of a professional shooter. And so like, my God, like, and of course it's Nat Geo and it's Discovery, like these places, they don't use what they have. And, moreover, they'll go and they'll schedule a week-long shoot over the course of a month in the Arctic, and it's just like horrific inefficiencies. And this one time, I was given a shot to go out in the field, and I went with one guy whose name is Nick Donnelly, and he's the guy who shot our doc around Joey's Hot Sauce. And Nick and I went to Cameroon, and we were going there to shoot one Rolex-sponsored scientist. And I said to my boss, like, hey, can we shoot more than that? And she was like, sure, as long as you get what you need. So we shot not one story, we shot 4 stories in our 9 days there instead of one story. And so, I mean, like, if I bring Nick to a place with as many stories as West Africa or Ecuador or Costa Rica or the United States, if we can have, there are these efficiencies we can have whereby we fill up our buckets with the highest level of footage and moving imagery and still imagery as well. And then we come back and we dump out our buckets on the Gimbalabs floor and we say, what do we got? And then we make really cool stuff. We make documentaries, we make social media content, we make what began the source material is 8K, and we make like TikToks out of that, and it's like people are like, who is this who's doing this? And like, yeah, there's just so many ways to be more efficient. So I've gone on and on. So thanks.
Oh man, Mike. Well, so we're gonna pick this up, this conversation at the session Gimbalabs is hosting tomorrow for Governance Week. Again, that is at 3 p.m. UTC, 10 a.m. Eastern time here in the United States. But Mike, just right. So you got into this. You helped film this documentary. You met Joey. You built up this library of footage. You got more footage than you needed because Hobbs is the regenerative cattle farmer that, when we talk about giving this contribution to regenerative agriculture, you can meet Hobbs by watching the documentary. It's on the Gimbalabs YouTube channel. But now Hobbs is interested in these questions of, hey, how can the blockchain support my work? And he's heard about beef chain, but he's also thought about how he would tweak that plan. So we, by starting with hot sauce, we've got more than one filmmaker from National Geographic who's thinking about what these tools can do and might have an idea somewhere. We've got a regenerative cattle rancher who's thinking about these tools and whose story we brought back to Cardano for Climate, and it's helped them kind of think more about the partnerships they might make. And then to top it all off, Joey introduced us at Gimbalabs to enter the Mandala team. So anybody who's heard of the Mandala NFTs, they're in the Cardano ecosystem as opposed to some other blockchain because Joey introduced them to us. And this is how it happens, right? Maybe the hot sauce part is trivial, but when you start thinking about these second and third order effects, this is why we understand, hey, somebody had to orchestrate this drop. Somebody had to build some tools so that we could release these things. Piotr, Randall, OCG, thank you. Right? We need tool builders. We can't do it without tool builders. But if we stop with tool builders only, and we don't see these other opportunities to bring creative, talented, smart people from all over the place into this work, I think we miss out on opportunities. And hopefully this is a case study that can help people think about this. And hey, Player Mint, good to see you. Slice Keeper, Juan, Game Changer. Oh man, yeah. So I mean, and Game Changer, Adriano's here in the chat. Adriano was a filmmaker first and noticed some problems he had to solve. I mean, you should come on here and talk about it next time we do this. But you started from solving problems, and then you realized, oh, now I have to build a wallet, right? And you've built one of the best and most interesting experimental wallets out there. So thank you, right? It's really amazing to watch this. Yes, I'm Slice Keeper. If Slice refers to pizza, I definitely love some hot sauce on my pizza. So just want people to think about how we really continue to both build and inspire at the same time. Next steps, Slice Keeper asked when hot sauce. We're dropping Joey's hot sauce NFTs on the 10th of February. That's 2 weeks from today. We'll do a bunch of events out there in the community between now and then. We're going to do some Twitter spaces, but we'll also be rewinding the clock a little bit and going on Clubhouse like we used to do way back before Twitter spaces. Anybody remember that? No? And then just, we've got Peace and Gimbal Pool up and running. Thanks to the Drip Drops team for running that. And we're giving away gimbals every epic until those run out. And finally, this is our mission. We're trying to mobilize as many people as possible to build stuff, to solve problems. We think that Cardano is one of the best coordination tools that's ever been invented, but we have a long way to go in terms of helping people understand what kinds of problems they can solve on it. So let's keep building tools together. Let's keep lighting up people's imaginations together and figuring out ways to tell stories. And yeah, I'm going to keep sending Charles's whiteboard video to people, but maybe I'll try some other tacks too, right? Because I've been thinking about what Mike is trying to teach me. I really appreciate it.
Mike, can I respond to that real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Just to, I don't want people. I am so grateful, and if anybody hasn't seen it, that 2017 Charles Hoskinson video was so helpful. My thing was like, and it's true with so much in life, but like, I was intimidated. I didn't speak the language, so I resisted getting in there, and so like a lot of people might, and once I got over that, and I was like, oh, and saw the excitement in you, and that's how we all can be sort of beacons for everybody else. But like, our excitement, the excitement led to me just being much more persistent and intransigent with stuff that I didn't understand. So I appreciate you sending all those links.
Oh man, I would do it again. And hey, I know you got a big night out tonight, so thanks for sticking around a little over time with us. And Adriano, yeah, couldn't agree more, man. Right? As a tool maker, I need people to tell me what problems to solve. Yeah. And I've had plenty of time. Oh, I want to take a picture of what? All right. Steve, Piotr, any last thoughts?
Get on the wagon. Let's change the world.
Go.
Yeah, that's the only thing I know. I mean, we just got to keep plugging away at stuff.
It's going to take all of us.
And before you get on the wagon, in 2 weeks, get on the sauce. Buy a jersey.
Get on the sauce. Hey, so we put up a little preview of one of the animated NFTs on the Gimbalabs Twitter channel. And if it doesn't make you move, I got some doubts. So make sure to check it out. Get on the sauce. Thanks for being here. Anybody else? I hope we saw the questions in the chat, but any other questions before we sign off? Okay. Join us tomorrow if you can. Look on the Catalyst Swarm calendar for that session we're hosting about project-based governance. And we have a bunch of different opportunities to jump in and get involved at Gimbalabs. Playground meetings happen every Tuesday at 1700 UTC. Dandelion gardeners meet every other Tuesday. So the next meeting is coming up in about 2 weeks. We do a couple of live Plutus sessions, one on Wednesday and one on Thursday. And this weekly update takes place every other Thursday at 2100 UTC. You can keep up with our calendar at gimbalabs.com/calendar and just reach out. Track us down on Discord or just here on Twitter. If you ever have questions, be in touch. Thanks, everybody. Steve, Piotr, Mike, thanks for joining us today.
Appreciate it. See you
See
guys.
you.
See you soon. Juan, see you soon. Take care, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.